History has no scent. That is precisely why history fabricates scents. From the rubble of a burned-down city, it extracts the smell of scorched earth, a scent no one has ever smelled, and mixes in fragrances that only the nostrils of future generations can comprehend. It is a fermented substance, repeatedly corrupted by the present, with that very corruption carefully bottled. I am recalling the fact that someone has already remembered yesterday. At that moment, memory becomes twofold. The structure designed to treat it as something that happened. A strange scent wafts from the cracks in that structure. It is not the smell of old paper, nor is it the smell of blood, nor is it the smell of earth. It is the scent of the past flowing backward from a future that does not yet exist. History pretends not to know the future, yet rewrites the past with future readers in mind. That is why the past holds a fragrance that reaches only the noses of the future. Eternity, which no one has ever smelled. It continues to decay within a sealed container called eternity. Eternity was not something that did not decay. It was simply that the rate of decay was slower than the human lifespan. The stone monument remains silent. Yet the more silent something is, the more eloquently it speaks to future generations. Engraved within the gaps of the chiseled characters is not the lost meaning, but the right to imagine that lost meaning. Something was here. With this single sentence alone, the void becomes a ruin. The void becomes evidence. Evidence becomes a story. The story becomes an institution. And the institution eventually transforms into the most entrenched lie. It has always been this way. History tells lies. But perhaps the very fact that history tells lies is itself a lie, a fiction that has not yet been fabricated by anyone. I peer into a museum display case. On display there are objects that once constituted someone's life. The objects say nothing. Yet we arbitrarily interpret their silence and murmur, "There was a person here." But the truth is the opposite. It's not that people were here, so the objects remain. It's because the objects happened to remain that people in later generations invented the idea that there was a person here. What remains is not proof of existence, but a wound left behind by chance to fabricate existence. And then I realize, I, too, am an artifact to be edited by the history of the future. The me of the present will become the past from the perspective of the future. My voice, my quirks, my silences, even the light streaming through the window this afternoon, will someday be transformed by someone's interpretation into evidence of the person I am. In other words, even while I am alive, I am already a footnote to my own posthumous self. If that is the case, what, then, is eternity? Eternity does not exist outside of time. Rather, it is a misreading that is resurrected each time, no matter how many times it is killed by time. And no one speaks of the possibility that the first thing to exist was none of these things. History does not preserve the dead. It processes the dead into understandable dead. In that process, countless contradictions are whittled away. Ambiguity, cowardice, desire, chance, slips of the tongue, jealousy, and silences that could not be explained. What remains after these are whittled away is what we call history, and only the shavings still linger somewhere. It is the scent of a life that was never recorded, the scent of emotion, the scent of truths that were never testified to, the scent of possibilities that were never discovered by anyone. I inhale that scent, and then I realize that eternity is rotting just a little. It is precisely because it is rotting that eternity is close to humanity. In things that have been perfectly preserved, there is no longer any trace of life. Life, rather, is the act of remaining while fading away. It is being forgotten, yet misunderstood in another form. And history is a gigantic olfactory organ that meticulously transports those misunderstandings from generation to generation. That is why I do not believe in history, yet I cannot deny history either. The moment I deny it, I end up fabricating yet another history. There is no escape. Those who flee from the past, those who doubt the past, and those who love the past, all are in the same editing room. And in that editing room, there is no clock. All that remains is an old bottle that someone has opened and closed countless times. The label on the bottle reads eternity, but when I open the lid, the scent that wafts out is not that of eternity. It is the stench of time that has not yet become history, rotting away while refusing to become history. I inhale that scent. Then, the present within me gradually becomes a past. I am smelling the scent of that very moment when the future transforms me into the past.